What is happening, folks? Welcome to Hunting with Tripler. Estate sales. They can be so magical. They can also be really overpriced, but not today, folks. Today I went to an estate sale, and not only were the prices phenomenal, but the quality of the item was just tremendous. You gotta check this out.
I collect so many things. Would you like to share this journey with me? I will show you the prizes I got today. So come along with me, come on and join in the chase. Yeah!
That's right, folks. In today's episode, we go to an estate sale, and quite honestly, my estate sale lady totally came through. She sends out a mass email to everyone, and usually the pictures sort of indicate what type of sale you're going to. And this one, the pictures just really didn't do justice. In fact, I would say that had she done a little bit more legwork on the pictures, I would have said there would have been way more people standing in line, and as it was time to roll in, 4 people total. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means less competition and a lot more time for me to walk around and not feel rushed. Now, before we roll into the estate sale footage, I spent some time in the warehouse working on cleaning the spaces and making sure that it's in an environment that it's very useful for me. The number of consoles that I currently have, it was getting to a point where I'm not only disappointed in the total sales volume, but I realized that getting to some of these consoles, getting to the accessories, it was becoming too much of a hassle. They were in too many different places. So I have a loft in the warehouse, and underneath the loft there are 3 very significantly sized bays. The lounge that you guys have seen before on footage, but there's also 2 separate areas where I have items that are listed and where there was basically an entire alcove of just stuff. We cleaned that out, got the consoles ready for Christmas time, and we're just continuing to make progress in the warehouse to turn this space into something magical. For those of you who love process, for those of you who like seeing the various types of reselling spaces, you got to take a look at this. This is what it's been looking like. I'm a quarter of the way through, having cleaned up the right-hand side. And of course, I'll show you what that is. These are items that have yet to be listed. We're getting through that. Now, this here has a whole bunch of goodies in it. We've got GameCube boxes or cases. We've got a whole bunch of manuals. And then these are more like premium cases that don't have games in them. And then on this side, I've basically cleaned things out. There's a lot of just like stuff that is non-business related, but just stuff that's sitting there. We've got other items that are up here, and then the rest, this is now going to be all of the consoles sitting from top to bottom, sitting right here so we can get quick access to it. As we clean this out, this will be another spot for all the consoles. I want this entire cove here to be all video game console related. At Tripler headquarters here, we've made tremendous progress. I want to show you what that looks like right now for those of you who are interested in kind of seeing how the format of the warehouse is sort of laid out. And I think we're probably like 2 or 3 months away from being able to do a full tour of this place, because as I transition from one warehouse into the other, transitioning from my original garage to one warehouse to another, bringing in new inventory, it's been just a constant change. Things move in different spots, and I'm happy about where we're at right now. So let's show you the progress here and in the other bay, and you can kind of see for yourself how kind of organized it looks, and it makes me happy. The stuff that was on the ground, a big portion of it got moved, and we reclaimed one shelf out of 4 here. And then this is a pile of items needing to be listed. Most everything moved out into the main floor for photographing and things of that nature. And then a lot of this just got straight up organized. This is not supposed to be here. I'll walk you through it. NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Wii, we've got PlayStation 2, and then PlayStation 3, and then it just kind of, towards the end we were running out of space, but we're gonna reclaim some down here, so more consoles are gonna be brought in. We've got accessories up here, Wii accessories, N64 accessories, and some various other things here. But what's gonna happen is then the remaining consoles are gonna move to this bin here, or to this shelf. So I'd say probably in the next 2 or 3 days, this will be totally clear, this will be totally gone, and we'll be able to use this entire area not only for getting consoles ready, but then we'll be able to package them back here too. So doing orders back here all in one location is going to be really convenient. And then what you didn't see is the shelf over here to the right had a kind of a mixed bag of consoles and various other things. So all of this stuff here is listed. There are items that are too big to be put into bins. And then these are items that are also either items that bundled together might be too big. There's probably some small items in here that could have been in bins, but at the time I was like, you know, it's easier to just put these over on the shelf. So all of this stuff is listed inventory that is on shelves, and I'd say it's pretty organized over here. I'm feeling pretty good about how things are looking. Estate sales out here in Southern California are a little bit interesting in that you are either a die-hard estate sale connoisseur, or you're one who just doesn't miss them, or you're someone like me who looks for an opportunity and tries to get in with people that you know, meaning I have an estate sale lady, and she usually gives me even a sneak preview before the sneak preview, which means that I usually can go in and just get anything I want. But we couldn't link up this week. I tried to do it on Tuesday, and so now it is the day of the sale. I'm gonna head over there. It's just a few minutes from the warehouse, so it's in a spot where it's a little bit unusual. End of the day, I'm not a die-hard estate sale person, but if there's an opportunity, I'm gonna go for it. So we're gonna take the GoPro, we're gonna go over to this place. There was just nothing in the photos that would indicate to me this is my type of estate sale, but I have been surprised many times before this, especially at her sales. So let's go check it out. I'm good. How are you?
You get a hug.
Thank you.
Hello, what's your name? Raul. Right. Come on in. There's a whole lot of stuff in the backyard too.
Mark, how much you guys selling the camera stuff for?
I don't think Amy has seen it because I was going to show Frank.
Okay.
But it was left over.
Gotcha.
She'll make you a deal because it was left over from a previous tenant.
Okay.
So it wasn't even large.
I'm curious.
Pass.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Pass.
Yeah. There's a vacuum in there, and I'm curious how much you're asking for it. No problem. Yeah, I'm not interested in that one. Okay, is that like a really nice one or something?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's not like a top end, high end.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
What about this one?
This one's a little better, high end kind of.
This one is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe,
I've never even heard of it.
$40.
Okay. Yeah. Is this Mealy thing is included?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You can plug it in if you want. Everything in this guy's house looks beautiful.
That kind of looks like, yeah, the guy took care of all of the stuff.
He's here. He's the homeowner's here.
Okay.
Sold it already. Now he's gonna travel the world.
Oh, good for him. I saw some hats in there. Are those for sale or no?
Everything.
Okay. You know I'm a big linen fan.
Yeah. Are you? No, I don't.
Wow. Well, boy, do I have a treasure trove for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the warehouse and having found a few pretty sweet items, a couple brands that I've never heard of before, and some hats that just looked really nice. They just looked nice. And sometimes when you see something that just looks high quality and it's cheap, hey, take a chance on it. So we're gonna take a look at some of this stuff, and some of you will be surprised, but I think for the most part, I just see really big dollar signs here, and I don't mind shipping items like this from time to time. I have moved away from shipping large items, so there is an instance here where I've got a fairly significant sized item that will take a pretty large sized box. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit of time, but the profit looks to be really solid. So let's take a look. First up, we have these Doc Martens sandals here, and they've got sort of a leather strap on the top. They look pretty nice. Condition, really good, and Doc Martens always sell pretty well. I would gather based on the condition and seeing kind of somewhat comparable comps online, I think selling them for around $40 to $45 plus shipping should be pretty simple. These are just high quality shoes. Everything in the house was high quality. And then I got some hats, and I don't buy a lot of hats that aren't either snapback or fitted or sports related hats, vintage type hats. So I thought, again, considering how high quality most of the stuff in this house was, and considering how low the prices were, why not give it a chance? This is like a fedora type hat. The brand is Peter Grimm. This is a true character hat, and I like it. I mean, it looks really nice, but you will never, ever, ever see me wearing a fedora. And please remind me in the future, if you ever see me wearing one of these, that I said so on this video. The next one, I can't pronounce the brand. It's made in Mexico. These are very coveted types of hats. Again, I can't pronounce this one. This is like Sahuyo, that's what I'll go with. And then this one is Sunbody hats. Both of them pretty nice. I think the comps on them should be pretty decent. I would guess for something like this, maybe 35, 40 bucks. Maybe something like this, 25 or 30. And as an FYI, that's all plus shipping. Next up is a Starbucks cup. And yes, I jumped on the bandwagon in buying Starbucks mugs for two reasons. Number one, I actually love using Starbucks mugs in the morning. But number two, they sell extremely well. These usually fetch me between $15 to $25. Some of the older ones go for much more than that, but I shouldn't have any trouble getting that for this. It's always plus shipping, and they usually don't sit very long if you price them accordingly, and they always have a year on them, and they always have a size, so it should be pretty simple to find it online. Next up, we have this sweet camera bag, and it's not just a camera bag. There's also a Canon camera in there, again, with an epic lens that I think the lens probably will be worth more than the camera itself, but the camera itself online, I was seeing anywhere between $75 to $125. The lens itself is a Canon lens. The Canon lens I think will sell for by itself around $75. And the EOS Elan 7, it's in okay condition. There's a little bit of fading in spots where they use kind of a cheap plastic or cheap like rubber, and over time you can see when you touch certain areas, it starts to wear off, and that's just like, that's a sign of frustrating. Like when you touch these areas where you're actually supposed to hold. Bought it for the lens. The camera, of course, I will sell. And there is, check this out. And it also came with this Speedlight 550EX. I looked this up and this was going for like 30 bucks all on its own. So I spent $50 on the camera, and I expect to probably be around the $150 range with accessories, with the bag. All of that being said, definitely worth it. Triple my money. And last up is something that's over here, so let me take you to that. We've got a vacuum. And this vacuum is what I was mentioning is going to take up a pretty fair amount of space inside of a really big box. This is the Miele. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a brand I've never seen before. This is the Miele Complete C3, and just that piece right there alone is going for like $100. The accessories, the vacuum, the top piece. I got all of this for $40. I expect to get somewhere between $300 plus on this, and that's the reason I got it. Because quite honestly, when the margin is that high, yeah, I don't mind putting in a little work. So factoring my time, which was less than an hour being there, coming here, dropping everything off, really even adding in the time to make this little video here, I would say that my profit margin is so good for an hour's worth of time. Granted, I'm gonna have to list it. I would say there's probably gonna be an extra 2 hours on top of that for pulling the items, packing the items, shipping the items, and then that means I'm gonna be around the 3 hour mark for everything all included. So my profit margin for 3 hours worth of work is extremely good. Stuff I usually don't buy, but I wasn't forcing anything, it's just that the quality of the items were too good to pass up. And that was today's episode, folks. The last couple of videos have been about video games and the Mario Brothers and, you know, wrapping up sort of some storylines, which has been kind of fun to do. And now we're out there venturing into something else. We're looking for something big, and hopefully, it hits pretty soon. And I would love for you guys to let me know, do you enjoy seeing the warehouse? Do you love seeing the process and the different spaces? It's always nice for me to kind of get an idea if that type of content is interesting to you, because of course I'd love to make more of it. But now it's time for Profit and Loss. Folks, last week we left off at $12,938. That's where we're at in profit. Cost this week, because we had payroll, was $1,204. Definitely not bad considering a big chunk of that was payroll. We finally got that coveted Amazon payment that came in. It was $580. I have been looking forward to that payment for a few weeks now, considering the last couple of weeks have been a big zero. Now the eBay sales are a little confusing to me. It's a little Jekyll and Hyde. Take a look. So we were at $2,852 in total sales. And it's confusing to me because I would have thought right now where we're at, these numbers are indicative of an incline in people's spending habits right now as we roll into fall. But I gotta say, this just doesn't really feel like that yet. It feels like we're still kind of nestled into summer and people's buying habits are still a little bit slow. And I can't speculate as to whether or not that has something to do with the economy, but I can say that year over year, and not necessarily looking at last year as kind of the indicator, but year over year, this is really around the time that sales definitely spike. I'm not disappointed, but the year over year trend is kind of confusing to me. So that brings the week's profit total to $2,228 after all fees and everything is paid, bringing our grand total to date of $15,166. Now we started this process back in the beginning of July. We have gone essentially 2.5 months in, and we have all but 3.5 months left. We got to that $15,000 mark. We've got a lot of games that are coming back from being graded, and of course I'm hoping for some big value there. And the other thing to note is that there's more listings going up. There's more time being invested into getting the listings on my eBay store and my Amazon store up. And also I'm prepping the spaces so that when something sells, it's ready to roll. I don't have to spend 25 minutes walking around looking for one item. I just need to see the sales indicate to me that we're finally at that place where things are gonna pick up and I'm gonna hit that $60,000 goal. Folks, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Of course, I always enjoy making it. If you like this type of content, make sure you give me that thumbs up button. There's a lot of you out there watching my content who are not subscribers, so of course, consider becoming one. I would love for you to be a part of the journey. Folks, I hope your weekend finds are amazing and your sales are just as good. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time. Take care.